be talking about Tecumseh, Shawnee Indian, a war chief, a political leader. We will be going over the birth, the molding of his life, the journey as he became a great leader, and his final days. Tecumseh once said, "Let us form one body, one heart, and defend the last warrior, our country, our homes, our liberty, and the graves of our fathers." Let me begin by telling you about the great journey of a Shawnee Indian chief, Tecumseh. Tecumseh was born a Shawnee Indian in 1768 near Old Chillicothe, Ohio, which is right up near Dayton by the Mad River. It was just a small, quaint little village of Indians. Tecumseh was named Tecumseh due to the fact that it meant panther across the sky. His mother envisioned him being a great leader. We will continue to look at the shaping of Tecumseh's life. His dad taught him idealism and compassion. His dad unfortunately passed away in 1774 in a battle of Point Pleasant. Tecumseh avenges his father. His mother taught him a vengeance and hatred towards the white people. She left him at age 7 for his older sister to raise him. Big, hearty companion Indian that loved to laugh named Blackfish had taught Tecumseh practical skills and guerrilla warfare, which would help him become a great leader. Tecumseh became known as a brave warrior. He fought in many raids against encroaching white men. He soon became chief of the Shawnee tribe. Tecumseh was a teacher, a provider, a warrior, a great speaker to not only his tribe, but all of the Indians. Tecumseh becomes a great chief and a political leader. Tecumseh accompanied his brother on a series of raids against the frontier settlement of Kentucky and Tennessee in the late 1780s. He fought for fort recovery in the Fallen Timbers in 1794, and embittered by the Indian he refused to sign the Treaty of Greenville in 1795. By 1800, Tecumseh had emerged into a prominent, great leader and chief, and he had a band of militant of younger warriors and families located in a village by the White Rivers in Indiana. In 1805, Tecumseh's younger brother became a prominent religious leader and took on the name Tezcatlipoca, or the Open Door. His brother began to preach of what we call today social movements, and that offered the Indians religious deliverance from their problems. Due to his brother accurately predicting an eclipse of the sun, it moved all the Indians flocked into the Shawnee village of Greenville, Ohio. Tecumseh transformed his brother's predicaments in religious and political preaching, all this, into a political movement. In 1808, Tecumseh and his brother, the prophet, moved their village into a juncture of Tippecanoe and Wabash Rivers, a new settlement called Prophetstown. Tecumseh continues to urge the tribes to form a political confederacy to prevent any further loss of any land. The Council of Vincennes, which would be Pennsylvania, in 1810, Tecumseh met the governor of the Indiana Territory, William Henry Harrison, demanding that the land taken from the Indians to be returned. Tecumseh claimed that if he had sold the land to the United States, he had right to do so, saying that they might as well have sold air and the clouds. He wanted nothing to do with selling his land. The council nearly ended the violence. Harrison insisted the land and the property belonged to the United States. In 1811, while Tecumseh was away recruiting for a confederacy, the U.S. forces marched against Prophetstown. They defeated the prophet, which was his brother, and burned the settlement, destroying everything in the town. Tecumseh strived to unite the Indian tribes into a single confederacy. He took a stick, and he had mentioned that if you have one stick, it will break. But if you have a bundle of sticks, it will not break, meaning all Indians come together and they can fight. Tecumseh continued to work on building his confederation. He traveled throughout the land and meeting with tribes and leaders and political leaders. But in conclusion, Tecumseh's crusade comes to an end. When your time comes, Be not like those whose hearts are filled with fear and death, so that when the time comes they weep and they pray for a little more time to live their lives a different way. Sing your death song. Die like a hero. Going home, is what Tecumseh said. After returning from the South, Tecumseh tried to rebuild the shattered Confederacy. But when the War of 1812 broke out, he withdrew to Michigan, where he assisted the British in capturing of Detroit and led pro-British Indians in subsequent actions of South Michigan and northern Ohio. When William Henry Harrison invaded Upper Canada, Tecumseh reluctantly accompanied the British retreat. American forces, unfortunately, in the Battle of Thames, killed Tecumseh on October 5th of 1813. Tecumseh's political leadership and his speaker, the way that he spoke and the speaker he was, and the humanitarianism and the personal bravery attracts all friends and foes. He was much admired by not only the British, but also the Americans. After his death, his body was never recovered, and considerably mythology developed about him, and he has become an American folk hero. Thank you.